Hello YouTube, Tumblr, and any other social media thing that I may post my videos on. And welcome to Puff Time number... Puff Time is a series that I do where I come and I smoke a cigarette and I explain to you guys what's on my mind. Usually the video lasts longer than the initial cigarette, and I'm trying to work on that because I tend to talk a lot. And I don't know why, it's just something that happens. And for about the first 10 minutes of the video, I don't really say much. It's a lot of me pausing and looking around awkwardly, and then at the very last second, right before I'm about to close out the video, I come up with something to talk about, and then I talk about it for about 15 minutes. So my video initially ends up being 25 minutes, and that's a little ridiculous. So this time I'm going to strive to be quick, blunt, and to the point about what I want to talk about, because I kind of have something in the back of my head that I want to talk about, but I haven't talked about it yet, so I'm going to do it. Now, as most of you know, if you keep up with my YouTube channel, you know for a fact that most of my Puff Times consist of serious banter, serious issues, serious things that go on in my life, or in others' lives. Something that is severely common in everyone's life. I've talked about it's okay to be who you are. I've talked about me trying to figure out who I am, and a lot of people go through that. I've talked about the Christmas apocalypse, which wasn't really, actually was pretty common, but I tend to ramble about things that people can relate to, and that's kind of what my Puff Time is about. It's about me getting on a personal level with you guys. I just want to kind of comment right now. It's about 75 degrees out, and it's weird because it's definitely the end of January, and it feels like the end of April. It's kind of windy out, so if the wind whips up while I'm talking, I apologize. I'm going to try and talk over the wind, but if I can't, then I'll probably repeat myself multiple times. The wind is happening right now. But yeah, something I would like to talk about today for Puff Time number. Well, I only have a few Puff Times out, but I totally forgot what number I'm on. So forgive me. I'm in shorts and flip-flops, though. Feels like I'm at the beach. I wish I was at the beach. The beach would be nice. Okay, so anyway, what I'm going to talk about tonight is depression. Yes, depression. I know it's a pretty common topic. It's a pretty common thing, but it's a very serious thing. A lot of people have been in depressed states. A lot of people are depressed. A lot of people have been through depression. And personally, I think winter is one of the biggest depression seasons ever, because it's cold. It's got a lot of holidays in it, especially towards the end of the year. And these holidays are about being with people you care about. And sometimes depression kind of comes about because we don't have people to be with that we care about, or that care about us. In my case, that's not true. I have people that do care about me, and I appreciate every single one of them. Thank you. Thank you so much. Everyone that cares about me has gotten me through a lot, so thank you. And I'm not saying that I don't have people that care about me. That's not why I'm depressed. And in all honesty, I don't know why I'm depressed. I don't understand my depression. And not a lot of people understand their depression. But what I really want to stress on in this video is everyone goes through depression differently. The wind, you know, I'm pausing for that. This video might be longer than I intended because of the wind and me having to stop. But I've been depressed, and it's really gotten on my nerves. You know, because when I was younger, and when I say younger, I mean probably 16, 17. And younger than that, obviously, but I've I've gone through some trials, some tough times in my life, but ultimately, I used to be a pretty happy-go-lucky person. I used to be pretty laid back about stuff. Now, my anxiety is through the roof. I get really nervous when I go out in public, and a lot of people may say, well, that's normal. It really puts a strain on anything. I just recently lost my job, and like most people, when they lose a job, they become more apt to be depressed because they lose that stability, they lose that consistency in their life. You know, I had the job that I had for almost 3 years, so losing it was tough because, you know, I was used to getting up 5 days of the week, you know, at a set time, going to work, having something else to focus on other than myself, and just work was a distraction. I'm one of those people that likes to work. I am not in school right now because I prefer to work over school, because to me school is it's hard, and it's always been hard for me personally, and I know that with the way things are now, if you have something on paper saying that you're certified, then you have a better chance of getting a job in that field. I've heard that a million times before, so don't tell me that. I know that. But what discourages me is I know a lot of people who have gone to college for years, and they've gotten certified in what they want to do, and then they couldn't find a job in that field. Because the economy is so rough right now for everyone. So losing my job has really, really put a strain on me, because I don't have to go and be out in public now. And that was kind of my window. That was kind of my way of socializing. That was my way of getting out of my house. That was my way of being motivated to go and do what I had to do for my paycheck. But now, I've been applying, I've been looking, and I haven't had any luck. And it's only been like 2 weeks, I think, since I lost my job, and yet it feels like it's been forever since I've worked, and it's really hard, because in my last puff time, I talked about lack of motivation, and I still haven't quite gotten that yet, and losing my job has especially put a strain on my lack of motivation, because now I'm really not motivated. And I know I need to get motivated in order to get out there and get a job, but it's just hard. And I'm not trying to have a pity party here on my porch. I'm not trying to sit here and say, oh, it's so hard, I can't do it, because I know it's hard. It's hard for everybody. You just can't hop on the job train and go to Job Town and go get a job and just come back with a job and be stable and have money. That's just not how it works. If that was how it works, a lot of people wouldn't be out of a job. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. My parents are leaving for church. Sorry about that. But yeah, so I just want to talk about this. I want to say that for everyone, depression is different. And for those people that sit up there and go, oh, I've been depressed, I know what it's like. No. It really bothers me, because everybody goes through depression differently. Everybody's depressed for different reasons. And yes, you may be able to sympathize and say, yes, I've been depressed too, I know what depression feels like. But ultimately, for everyone, depression feels different. Some people, when they're depressed, they don't eat. Some people, when they're depressed, they eat. Some people, when they're depressed, they sleep for days. Some people, when they're depressed, they cannot sleep. So it's really different for everyone. Everyone has a different feeling, a different way that depression affects them. So I just want to say that, you know, no matter what you're going through, if you're depressed, don't lose hope, because a lot of people are depressed, and a lot of people have depression, and it's not uncommon. Depression is so common. So common. But so many people take it and they make it into a bad thing. They make it into like, oh, I'm depressed because my parents didn't get me a Porsche. They got me a Ferrari. Some people don't even have a car. Some people don't even know how to drive. Some people don't have the money. Some people don't have parents that support them. Some people have it so much worse than you. And that's a way that you should look at it, you know? But I think that ultimately a big thing that causes depression is fear. And recently my therapist gave me an acronym for fear, and it stands for false evidence appearing real. It's when you have this false perception of the way things are, or the way things happen, or the way things will affect you, or are. I just said are twice, but it's false. And you take that and you squeeze it into your head and you make it real for yourself, and then you become afraid of it, and you run. You run from that fear. One of my acronyms for fear is fuck everything and run. Because you're so afraid. You don't know what to do. So you pick up everything you have and you leave. You run. You get away from the fear. But ultimately, that doesn't do anything. That makes the fear stronger. When you're afraid of fear itself, you give fear the power to control you. Fear is winning if you run from fear. So what you really have to do is you have to face it. And I'm talking to myself too. My thing is, I look at a door, and my first instinct, my false evidence, is that there is a lion behind that door. There is a tiger behind that door waiting to eat me. Why do I have this false evidence? Why do I have this feeling that there is a tiger or lion or a bear? Oh my. Because in the past, for me personally, there has been a tiger behind that door. There has been a ferocious animal waiting to fucking maul me. And I don't mean literally. That would be ridiculous. No, but there has been things before in my life that have completely destroyed me. They have completely taken my world and flipped it upside down. What happened? What did I do? I ran. I hid. I did what I knew to do, and I laid low. It's really windy out. But what I want to say, I want to encourage you and myself to not run from fear, but to run to fear with your battle cry. Whatever that may be. Your battle cry might be, you're not going to take me. I'm better than you, fear. I'm going to conquer you, fear. You may run at fear with a sword. You may run at fear with a shield. You may run at fear with fear. But if you turn from fear and you run away from fear, your shadow is going to get bigger. And fear is going to get huge. And it's going to scare you even more if you keep running from it. So face your fear. And that's something I really, really need to do. Because if I don't face my fear, if I don't face it at all, it's going to overpower me. I am boxing myself into a corner. I am shutting myself out of my own life. I am pushing everyone away. And I need to stop. People try to help me. I have friends that try to contact me, that try to get me to come out of my house, that try to get me to go places with them, and I tell them no. I tell them, nah, not tonight, I don't feel good, or nah, I'm not really feeling it, I'm feeling kind of down. And there comes a time where you have to listen to your body, and you have to listen to, you have to listen to yourself to take good care of yourself. If you're afraid of something, and if you're like, I don't know, I think I might have a panic attack if I go out in public, so I'm gonna avoid that. And sometimes avoidance is good, Sometimes if you listen to your body, if you listen to what your mind is telling you, like, no, this is bad, stay away, you can take care of yourself. But it's also very contradictory, because sometimes you need to push back. Sometimes you've got to get out there and you've got to push against it, and you've got to say, no, I'm gonna have a good time. I'm not gonna let this affect me. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna make something of myself, and I'm gonna push back against that fear. But sometimes you have to build up your walls. Sometimes you have to protect yourself by blocking things out. It's not black and white, though. You know, with me, I have this false perception. I've got either I completely build up the Great Wall of China and block everything out and just be safe in my corner by myself, alone, lonely, or I tear the wall completely down and let everything in and get hurt. That is, neither of those options are logical. They're just not. They're not gonna help. What I need to do is I need to figure out how high to build my wall. For everyone, it's different. You may have this person over here who you really need to put up your full wall because they're gonna hurt you. And you may have this person over here where you may need to build like a knee-high wall where you let them in but only so far. But everyone's different. You've got to set boundaries differently. And I think for me, I'm afraid of setting boundaries because I don't want people to leave me. But then again, I don't want people to hurt me. So I get confused and I build up walls for everyone. And no one can get in. And then they give up on me. And then I'm left in the dark wondering, well, what happened? Why did this happen? Why did everyone leave me? It's my fault. I'm doing this to myself, and I need to stop it. And if anybody else out there is confused about boundaries and they don't know how to set them and knock them down, how high to build their wall, I'm with you. And it's a long process and it's hard to figure it out, but it's worth figuring it out. Because you don't want to have no one. And you don't want to have people in your life who hurt you. So if you're depressed right now, if you're confused about boundaries, if you're afraid of something, face your fear, push back, be strong. And it's easy to sit here and say be strong. It's easy to say build your boundaries, right? It's easy to say face your fear. But the hard part is actually doing it. But if anybody needs help, if anybody needs advice, I may not have my shit together, but I'll try and help. I just want everyone out there to know that they are not alone. You're not alone in this. A lot of people experience fear. A lot of people experience depression. And a lot of people don't know what to do with their boundaries. I just want you to know that I'll help you. I'll try. In the meantime, stay strong, guys. Don't let it get the best of you. Push back against that fear. It's worth it. It really is.